Virginia. When
Hey, this is Coach. We're out today taking a look at a property, me and my man Travis. This is kind of a house that's pretty typical in our area. We'll go in, this is kind of our first look here. We've got a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So this is probably, we'll have to get rid of most of this stuff. You know, one of the conveniences of working with ourselves, you know, flippers, and you'll learn this as you move along, is, you know, people want to sell the property as is. They take what they want, they leave the rest. They don't want to have to fool with it. So this particular property is an estate, and there's a few brothers, and they just want to kind of get rid of it. And a lot of, you know, I call them coal camp houses. You'll see a lot of low ceilings where they built additions on and different things. Stuff like that. Very common. Floors are uneven. We see this a lot in houses in this area. If you look at this cabinet, you can kind of see how it's kind of leaning back against the wall. And then here, the floor kind of runs here. The floor kind of runs here. It's real common for these older houses in our area is they got floor furnaces. So if you listen, you hear that. The floor furnace is still there. And they put carpet over top of the grate. But these houses settle to the floor furnace where the beams were cut, and they set the floor furnace in. And through the years, the house just settles in and around it. You can see in here the ceiling house probably 7.5 feet, something like that. Another thing that's kind of common, if you look, you notice there was a creek out front, and you look right here, and you know, there's the mountain. So the house is pretty much tucked between the creek and the mountain. Up the steps, there's 3 bedroom and a bath up there. There's one bath down. This is out in the garage. So it's an older house, but they've taken good care of it. So it does have some upgrades. You can tell the gas furnace here is upgraded. I don't know what the date is, but you can tell it's newer. Yeah, got shut off. Now if you look over here, the electrical has been updated. They put a box in. Then this, they've got a own generator. That's what all this is. So it's sitting outside. So obviously there had to be some electrical upgrades to be able to put the generator in. So that's a really good feature for the house. Looks like the hot water heater is fairly new. Most likely the washer and dryer, we'll have to do something with those. We'll probably get those. So, you know, we try to give those to people that need them, people with rentals. We try not to throw them away. We try to do something with them. Give them to the restore. These filing cabinets, when this stuff's hauled out of here, they'll be cleaned out. These are big, heavy metal cabinets. There's one here, one there, one down there, one over here. So the guys that do my clean outs, they'll take all this metal, they'll recycle it. They'll make a little money off of it too, but we always recycle all the metal. So this garage is just full of metal. So all this, you know, won't go in the dump. It'll basically be recycled. All right, Travis, take us up. Okay, this takes us upstairs to the bedroom. This has been added on to the house, so it's kind of newer as you can look around. On the downstairs part of the house, you know, they still got the old 2-prong outlets. Up here you can see they got the 3 prongs. So they've, you know, this is newer wiring, stuff like that. Floors are a lot more level. No cracks in the ceilings. We got a bath here. Double bowl sink. Two-piece tub. To the bedroom. Another cool feature of the house that, you know, adds some sellability to it is if you look out, we got a nice big side yard here and an outbuilding, so it's kind of a double lot up here, so that helps a lot. You can tell the roof probably near the end of its life cycle, so property's gonna need a roof for sure. You look out front, it's got a nice driveway. There's the creek running through. There's the road coming up in the hollow here. Okay, so that's what we're out looking at today. As I told you, you know, on Small Market REI, we're going to try to give you real world looks. Travis and I are actual real estate investors. We're not AI generated. We're out here every day looking at houses, walking houses, making offers, buying properties. We've got years in the business, so hopefully this content helps you a little bit. Another thing you can't see here too is how unlevel the floors are here. You know, it's running downhill, you know, to the furnace, and it's running downhill towards the front door, which once again, you know, these old houses, that's the way they are. That's the way they were built. They were built lots of times with rough lumber. I've had houses that's had oak logs under them for foundations. You know, there's a different building code back in West Virginia when these houses were built in the early days. So lots of stacked stones, lots of hand-hewed stones on corners of houses. We see a lot of that sort of thing here, and that's just part of the culture and the history of how houses were built. All right, hope this video helps you. You can kind of see what we're looking at. We're out here this morning looking at this one, and we're going to look at another one today. So this is Coach, and where's Travis? It's Travis, Small Market REI, Coach buys home. Look at this house on the outside, just looking everything over. You can see underneath here kind of the roof's leaking a little bit through here. And I don't know if you can tell, it's got a little bit of pitch, but it don't have a lot of pitch. So sometimes when shingles start to wear, you got this little bit of pitch. The water don't run real well off of it, kind of wants to lay on it, particularly if you got the least bit of a sag anywhere, and then it just finds its way through. So, you know, the best thing probably out here is, you know, if we don't give it a little more pitch, is maybe just try to put metal on it. Something make it run a little faster. Maybe not lay on there quite as much. So, got this generator out here. You know, you can tell somebody's plumbed it up right too. You always look at these things when it's been replumbed, and we see this a lot with gas, hot water heaters and different things. They don't plumb in the drip leg here for the gas. And some of you are going to say, well, what's a drip leg? Well, a drip leg, basically gas is kind of dirty. It's got sediment and stuff in it, and the drip leg catches all that sediment. It goes down in that leg before it runs into the generator and clogs something up. So, and sometimes, you know, certain applications will require 2 drip legs to make sure you catch all that sediment. So that's just a little tip for the day. Everything else looks okay. right here is the gas. Oh, right here, yeah. See, you can see where it's broke through. So those shingles are bad, and the roof is pretty much flat for the most part. It has a little bit of pitch, but I'd like to see them when they put this out here give just a little bit more pitch. But hey, take what you can get. At least it does have good head height and stuff. All right, well, that's our tour for today. Also, I was just showing you back of the hill here. We were talking about how the house is sitting out front, the creek, and this is how close we are to the hill back here. So we're right on it. So inevitably, you're going to get some water into the back of your house back here. And we can see a little bit of it coming in here around the garage. Kind of, you know, you see a little bit of moisture there and stuff. But that's just normal. Unless you're out here and you can dig some kind of a ditch or do something, you know, you're always going to have stuff like that. But that's, once again, that's what we deal with. Our terrain's really rugged, not a lot of flat land, so houses are traditionally either tucked into the side of the hill, on the hill, or close to the hill. That's kind of your three choices here. You usually have a creek in front and a hill in the back. All right, that's a tour for the day. This is Small Market REI and CoachBuysHomes.com.